Oh, this pains me. Jonathan Frakes, this pains me, buddy. Star Trek Picard critics, apparently they're only watching to make sure they hate it. The world astounds me how these people, just justify constructive critique. And they're just so blinded by their own narcissism. That's what it is. Like, Jonathan Frakes, I'm amazed you don't smell your own farts, mate. This is insane. Absolutely insane. Now, a lot of people will defend Picard. That is fine. That is your right. But it's also everyone's right to criticise it and not just be labelled a hater. I think we can all universally agree on that, surely. Because nothing is perfect. It's all subjective. Yes? Yes. So when one loves a show, equally you must admit that people will dislike it, and everyone has their justifiable reasons for that. To label it as simply hating or, I don't know, SJW haters, I don't know, whatever it is that people label it as nowadays is just simply not true. It's disingenuous, in fact, at the best of times. And at the worst of times, it's just utterly moronic, I guess. Now, number one actor Jonathan Frakes recently appeared on Galaxy Con's Facebook livestream. During his conversation, the actor and director discussed plenty of issues related to Star Trek. One that stuck out was his views on fans who are critical of Star Trek Picard. But there's also some interesting bits how he led up to that and how he's doing these kind of mental gymnastics, right? He makes a comment of how, and we'll get to it in a second, but he makes a comment of how the people that loved it were hardcore fans. So apparently, again, this is in this man's mind. Those that didn't like it are not hardcore fans. They're not fans of The Next Generation. Unreal! You couldn't make this stuff up, could you? You couldn't make this stuff up. So, Frakes discussed fans who are critical of the show while reflecting on his own experiences during the convention circuit. He told a story about his first convention right after the premiere of The Next Generation and the hostile crowd he faced, which is true, yes. This is the live stream, but I'll leave a link to the article down below and you can go and check it out anyway. Now he says, Frakes is asked about what it felt like to enter the weird, strange world of fandom, which I'm sure must be very strange. I mean, I have people comment on my appearance on my channel all the time, as if it's, anyone's business. It is very strange, and I wouldn't say I've even got fans. It's just odd when people watch you and take an interest. It's, I don't know, it is odd. It's just par for the course, I guess. Now he said, the first convention I ever did was in Syracuse, New York, and it was the winter of 1987, and the show, I think, had started that September, so the audience was very hardcore original series audience. They were skeptical, they were suspicious, they were generally not terribly interested and completely unfamiliar with this new Star Trek, which had a bold English captain with a French name and an entirely new cast. They wanted their Kirk, Spock and Bones Star Trek. I had no idea what the world I had entered was going to be like. I had no idea what the experience was going to be like. I was a nervous wreck. And yep, I agree. But this, again, this is the kind of mental gymnastics this man is doing. Because you'll see in a second he starts to build it up and build it up and build it up and then just kind of knock it down. He even makes a comment on canon, which is laughable. Because Picard and Discovery completely poo-poo canon right out the window. So it's very, very odd. Very, very odd. Now he says, the article says, the conversation then goes into Frakes' experience as Captain America before it's brought back to Star Trek. At around the 30-minute mark, Frakes is asked about when Star Trek, the original series fans, began to embrace the Next Generation cast and show. Frakes responded, I don't think it was until the second or third year when the show got really good. And remember, we did 26 a year. That was a lot a year. That's 50 to 60 shows in. He added, they realised there was room in their world for both shows. And then, Paramount, in its wisdom and greed, produced Voyager and Deep Throat 9, an Enterprise. Hopefully that's a typo. And it went on and on and on, and then we shut down, and they shut down, and JJ kept it under wraps until he produced the movies, which were wonderfully received, and didn't seem to have the same sort of resentment about being the new Trek. Well, again, there's a reason for this. Let's differentiate, right? because you talk about canon and things like that. But J.J. Abrams, and they did receive, you know, some critique for sure, but people could enjoy them because it didn't mess up the canon specifically, right? It was its own thing. Whereas this is, you know, this is after the Next Generation. This is Picard. So people can have an issue with that. The same as Discovery, right? It is messing with what is known to be canon. And, you know, talking about Paramount and greed and wisdom and things like that, I mean, that's super dumb. Like, what are you talking about, mate? Like, they're a business. I mean, is it just because your butt hurt that you got shut down? Or what is it? I don't understand. And Voyager has its fans. In the same, you know, in this same discussion, he's talking about fandom and how people didn't receive it well and all this kind of stuff. But then it sounds like he's not a fan of Voyager or Deep Space Nine and Enterprise. So, surely you're just being a hypocrite, right? Are you not being a hypocrite, Frakes? Mate, are you not being a hypocrite? Sounds like you're being a hypocrite. Now, Frakes then discussed the reception to Star Trek Discovery. But my friends at Discovery, which I was privileged to be part of and still am, there was a similar vibe when that show came out. People, they didn't want to find room in their hearts for another Star Trek, which there clearly is. Okay. And again, you know, this is a man who's just said Paramount was greedy, right? For doing Voyager and Deep Space Nine. And, you know, there's an argument to be had for, yes, definitely they were greedy, but you can't then in the same breath turn around and say, this! You can't say this, you're a hypocrite. What are you doing? He then touched on Star Trek Picard, and one of the reasons that was not a factor in the launching of Picard is because the hardcore fans love Picard and were inclined to look forward to the show. Oh, the penny drops! There you go, look, ladies and gents. So apparently only hardcore fans love Picard. Only hardcore fans. It couldn't possibly be that other people dislike it who are fans as well. Couldn't possibly be. So anyway, hardcore fans, apparently only the hardcore fans, the hardcore ones, we're looking forward to the show, and we're looking forward to having him, and look forward to whatever the story, because they knew him, and they knew who he was. There you go. There you go, ladies and gents. There you go. If you weren't looking forward to Picard, that's because you're not a fan. It's because you're not a fan, guys. There you go. That's right, guys, because you're not fans. Oh, dear God. And I think the familiarity with all fandom, it's so important. And here we go. It's like the canon of these shows. They want a touch point. But you're defending shows which garbage the touch point. What are you talking about, Frakes? How can you take this man seriously, anyone? And that's exactly what it is, and it's important, and clearly worked, because Picard was wonderful. Yeah, okay, sure. Now we know that you're sniffing your own farts, mate. So anyway, Script Doctor, friend of the channel, go and check out his review of this. Again, this article is linked down below, so you can go and check that out. Now again, you know, we have the end notes here, right? Finally, the $1 million question was asked. He brings up, there are a number of Star Trek fans who are unhappy with Picard. This is what he says. Bearing in mind, he said all those things before about Voyager and Deep Space Nine, but they'll watch it. They are watching to make sure they hate it. What are you doing, mate? Come on, dude. How can you take yourself seriously? Are you having a laugh? You know? So he builds all of this up whilst contradicting himself to end with that. Well, people just watch it because they hate it, and you know, if you don't like Picard, it's because you're not a fan. Because hardcore fans love Picard. You're only a hardcore fan if you love Picard, guys. That's right, ladies and gents. Only hardcore fans love Picard. Of course they do. Fuck my life. Fuck my ozone layer. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please do let me know down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Support my original short film. It's linked down below, along with some original merchandise, limited run merch for the film. That's down below, as well as in a Teespring link. But anyway, guys, thanks so much. I've been Mr. H. Take care.